So I got divorced in my 40s, remarried at 50 years old, and here's what that taught me about love and happiness. Going through my divorce in my 40s, incredibly difficult, from being used to saying we to now trying to get used to saying I again. And then the biggest challenge though was being able to find myself and finding meaning again in all of it. I had to navigate through so many feelings because it really affected my self-worth. And I'd ask, am I ever going to meet somebody again? Do I ever want to get married again? I often said no. Can I pull off a wedding dress in my 50s? So many crazy questions. But I was incredibly lucky to meet my now husband who loves me for who I am. He doesn't try to change me. I don't want to change him. And he really embraces me for what I bring to the table at this age. And it makes me feel more confident in myself and where I want to go next. And we all deserve that. So this whole experience really taught me not to settle for anyone. And I've heard from a lot of you. And this is my dad's advice, and I love it. It's better to be alone than lonely with someone. And yes, I did have a wedding at 50 and pulled off the wedding dress.
One can only be happy for that lucky woman. But you know, her situation is not representative. Yes, I think many know how many women over 30 cannot find a partner, let alone get married. Maybe it's about them, maybe I don't know. No one really knows. But you know, many young guys also prefer much older women because it's like having a wealthy mom who pays for everything and is happier with you than anyone else, without demanding anything in return. Well, let's look at the next story. If you want to stay updated and keep discussing topics that matter to us all, hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments.
My story is not unique. I left a marriage after 15 years. I had 3 kids with the man. I had built a life with him, and I really wanted it to work. Deciding when it was time to leave, deciding that I had tried hard enough, deciding that yes, it was worth to take the risk of the unknown for leaving the known, which I had become very accustomed to over the last 15 years. And even though I was miserable, there was some security to it. There was a little bit of, at least I was comfortable in knowing what to expect. As the years would roll by and every birthday I got the same card that said next year will be better, I somewhere deep inside thought to myself, there's no way. And the only way that my life is going to change is if I leave. But I had 3 kids. And I was also thinking, wait, if my happiness means that I'm taking away the kids' happiness, and all of the guilt that came into play of, am I being so selfish that I want to leave this? And is it bad enough? But here's the kicker. The kicker is that if you are in a place where you are absolutely miserable, you're being treated horribly, or whatever your circumstances are, but you know in your heart that the only way to change your life is to leave, let me tell you that you will carry guilt with you, that it will be extremely difficult. And when you are looking for people who you're like, okay, well, she left and look how her life turned out, and you're looking for examples and your mind is researching for the evidence that you're going to be okay, I'm going to tell you that no matter what it is, that's the unknown that's on the other side. If you are in a situation right now where years are passing by and you are still miserable in a relationship and you're not being taken care of and you're not being seen and you're not being heard and you're just being alone in a marriage, the unknown is terrifying, but there's nothing more terrifying than looking back and seeing all the years that you wasted living in fear.
It seems a bit sad to me. This woman doesn't look like the past 15 years of marriage have been a real torture for her. It's hard to say what she was hoping for. But marriage is not always a celebration and happiness. There are also difficult moments because each partner experiences social pressure, pressure from aging, and more. It's a pity that instead of discussing this with her partner and visiting a family psychologist, people choose to simply break up. Let's hope she won't regret her decision, as it may be influenced from outside, where women are constantly urged to be proudly alone because no one is worthy of them or understands them.
So, I've never been in a relationship. I've had situations, but not to the extent where I would call it a proper relationship. And I'm 25, and some people think that that's a little bit old to have never been in one, but I know that there's a bunch of people also out there who is in the same situation. But it's come to that point where I can't even see myself in one. I enjoy being by myself, and I enjoy not having to check in with someone all the time or having to worry about another person, because I have to focus on myself at the moment. And relationships, when they're good, work really well for people, but I think we put too much pressure on them, because for a long time I felt bad about not being in one, but at the same time not wanting one. So, if you're 25 and not in a relationship, or older, or younger, whatever, realize it's okay, and you already have the best person in your life to spend your time with, which is yourself. So that was just something I was thinking, and yeah, have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Despite the girl trying to find positives in her solitude, it sounds unconvincing. Yes, now she is 25 and can afford to think that all she needs is herself. That her prince just hasn't found her yet, but time goes on. She will turn 30, and she won't be so happy with her loneliness anymore. And then the carousel will start again about how men are scoundrels for looking at young girls. In any case, we can always end up alone at any moment, and for that we don't need to do anything. So maybe it's better to try to make a little effort first to share this life with someone. Does no one need love anymore?
In Pennsylvania, the courts decide in a divorce based on equitable distribution. Equitable distribution does not mean equal division of assets. It means what the court considers fair. The biggest factor the court's looking at is the difference between the parties' incomes. What the court may not consider is if your spouse cheated. If your spouse cheated, it has no bearing on how the assets are going to be allocated between the two of you. The only thing that will matter if your spouse cheated is whether you're going to have to pay them any type of alimony. It's a factor the court would consider if you were making more money. If you make less money than them, the fact that they cheated has no bearing on your divorce.
In any case, in any divorce, the man is at a disadvantage because the law is always on the woman's side. And of course, there are cases when this is necessary, as well as the fact that a man should pay for his misdeeds. But there are also opposite situations where men literally find themselves trapped in their divorce process. And if the woman didn't work before, why would she work or remarry if she can be supported by alimony?
Ready with me while we talk about being single. A little bit about me. I've never been in a relationship before. I'm 24 years old. I've never been in a relationship before, and that's okay. You know, if you're in the same boat, that's fine. I feel like because I've been single for so long, I feel like I've just really learned to be like good on my own. I have things that make me happy. I love like my friendships that I have and doing things that make me happy. So if the right person comes along, great. Love that. If they don't, I know that I'll still be good. I know that a lot of people say like, oh, you should date around, like discover what you like, what you don't like, get yourself out there. But I can't tell you that there is no ounce within me that would want to go on a date. I'm not on any apps. I don't have any of the apps downloaded. I just really rather not. I really don't have like a place where I could like potentially meet someone. It's really just like work, school, home. So in my head, I'm like, okay, yeah, like maybe a guy isn't just gonna like pop out of nowhere. You know that everyone says, oh, you'll find your person when you stop looking. And I remember when I was really single and wanting a relationship, hearing that, like, you're like, okay, you know, it doesn't really help. But I can't tell you how true it actually is. When you stop letting finding a relationship being your focus, it's okay to want a relationship. Maybe the better saying is like, when you start looking for yourself, you'll find your person. Don't think about, oh, what would this person like? What do you like? Through doing your own thing and through finding yourself, you're just gonna find like-minded people. Just don't settle and I don't want to say desperate, but like desperately search for a relationship just because you feel like you need one or just because you feel like, oh, at this age I should be at this point. Putting those pressures on yourself helps no one. This is the only time in your life where really you only have to worry about yourself. When you get into a relationship, when you have kids, when you get married, like all those things, other people come into play. But this is the time now where you can just focus on what do you like, get to know yourself, what makes you happy, and just date yourself. You deserve to feel loved. You deserve to feel valued. You deserve to like feel all the feelings and have everything that you want. You deserve to be loved. It's gonna come to you. It's gonna happen. But don't stress over it. Focus on you. Don't settle and know that everyone has their own timeline. Like, it's so okay and so much better for you to go at your own pace and do what feels right for you. You're on no one's timeline but your own. So don't get down on yourself being like, oh, well, I thought by this age or by this time I would have done this, this, and this, and would have been in this place. Easiest way that you ruin your own happiness is with all these expectations of how everything should be, how you should be, how life should be. It just ruins the vibe. Even though in this chapter of your life you may not have everything that you want, but that doesn't mean you're never gonna have it. Just stay excited for the future. Don't settle. Fall in love with the life that you're creating for yourself. Fall in love with who you are and don't put pressure on yourself. You're doing great and you're gonna find someone who loves everything about you. Know your worth and never settle. Because you deserve it all. I feel like when you date yourself, you're like, oh wow, I'm actually so cool, you know? Become the person that you would want to date. You know what I mean? I guess what I want to say is just like, don't put this weird pressure on yourself to feel like your life has to look like anyone else's, that you're on like some weird timeline with your life. Let your story play out how it's gonna play out. You are already enough, you are already loved, so feel it and know it, please. You're amazing. I love you and I hope you have a great day.
This girl is great for thinking this way. Yes, definitely there is a lively and light spirit of youth in her when everything is achievable and there are no disappointments. She is also right in that you don't need to compare yourself with anyone going your own way. The difficulty is that people, as they age, are susceptible to the social opinions of the majority, which then consume the personality even of a bright person. If everyone kept such a view of life as this girl, there would be many more happy people and couples. Don't you think so?
I told myself that I wasn't going to talk about my divorce online because I wanted to respect people's privacy. But I feel like I'm going insane. I have been separated from my soon-to-be ex-wife for less than a month. And it is just obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. And I appreciate all the love and support that I am getting from my friends, from my family, from people who barely know me, from my lawyers. Like, I'm grateful. But what I think people don't realize is, like, if you are not in the divorce, so like all my friends and my family, whatever, like their lives continue. And I'm over here drowning, struggling to breathe, crying all the time, feeling so angry, feeling like this 24/7. And my life has to continue too. And I'm getting up in the morning and I'm doing the best I can because that's life. I'm a 30-year-old, like I'm an adult, I have a big girl job. That's just how it works. But I feel like I am screaming and I'm like back here screaming and everybody else has continued walking forward and they can't hear me anymore. And it's not their fault. The anger that I feel right now is not their fault. I just want this to be done. I want this to be over because I feel like I'm losing my mind. And each day, there's a new thing that I have to deal with. And getting divorced from a person who has become a version of themselves that I do not like, that I do not recognize, is so heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because I'm married to this person for a reason. I love this person. When me and this person got married, we discussed if we were ever going to get divorced, we were going to do it in the most amicable way possible. And I tried. I tried my very best. And maybe she is also trying her best. But her best isn't good enough. And maybe my best isn't good enough for her, but I need my therapist. Or a punching bag.
Well, when you got married, did you already discuss the issue of separation? That's strange, but now this woman understands that divorce is hard, And in this divorce, she also takes on the role that was previously only assigned to the husband in marriage. Considering their difficulties in the divorce process, I won't be surprised if her partner wants to take half of all the property. And here, there won't be any convenient male shoulders to put all the blame on and demand alimony. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Your input really helps shape our discussions.